what I wanted? No, I don't want Pornhub. Shut stupid phone. All right, one, two, it's on now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dragons Fan Guide. We've got Rugby League Roundup with us. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. How about you?
Good. So we're just here to just talk about NRL in general and Dragons and all. So CJ Moxley might be joining us, but we'll see what happens. So if you'd like to start us off with something, I don't know, you just
Um, yeah, if we're reviewing, do you want to review the Dragons first, or do you want to go from like bottom to top?
uh we'll start. You pick a team, and we'll start from there.
All right, I think we should start from 16th and then go all the way up. Oh, there's TikTok. Oopsies. But yeah, we'll start from the bottom. So we'll start with the Tigers. Um, yeah, what were your thoughts on the Tigers this year?
I'll give him a pass. To be honest, I don't really know what to say. Um, just boring. Just I don't know really what to say. I mean, couple of good games, but really just boring and just terrible. I mean, what was it? They got beaten by the Roosters. Was it 70-6 or something? So,
Yeah, yeah, it
so
was a
what would
bad.
you say about them?
Yeah, well, I don't think people expect much out of this club. I mean, they haven't made the finals for 11 or so years now. It's been ages. The club have brought Tim Sheens back to try and find some success. I don't even think they'll make the top 8 next year, to be honest. Um, so they failed huge this year. They were shocking. I mean, they got 4 wins from 24 games. So that's not good. They had a lot of drama this year. Obviously, this Luke Brooks saga continues. Is he going to go to the Knights? Is he going to stay, or is he going to go to the Dolphins? Because there's also been rumors about that. He's rumored to go everywhere, and I don't even think the Tigers fans want him. But Tim Sheens and the rest of the crew want to keep him because apparently he's their future still, even though he's proven to be not really that great at the Tigers. I think he needs a better system. So the first thing, if I was the Tigers, I'd get rid of Luke Brooks. Uh, I think you'd improve if you had Jackson Hastings and Adam Dewey in the halves. Um, they signed Appy Coruscant, which they'll improve next year. Like they won't make the top 8, but I think they'll be around that 11th to 13th bracket. Um,
Yeah,
but overall, this year was just to sum it up. This year was not even close to being any part of good because no one expected them to be good, and they were just horrible. They have a minus 327 for and against. That is shocking.
it's
Like
terrible. I mean,
that
it's
is
just
yeah, that is bad. So this I give the Tigers like I'd say a 2.5 out of 10, maybe a 3. Yeah.
I'd give them a -5.
Maybe I'm being a bit generous, but yeah,
I'm saying a number. I could have just said 0, 0, 0. So I'm giving them one number. So I
yeah.
don't really know just what to say, but I think Coruscant. Who else is going there? Isaiah Papali'i.
And I think they're promoting some juniors, and that's about it.
Oh, Bateman. Apparently they're getting Bateman. But
Oh yeah, that's nice. That's a good signing.
I think Papali'i, Bateman, Coruscant, decent. Still not a top 8 team. And I'd look at moving on Brooks. But I just don't see him in the Knights or NRL. I see him probably Super League for me, possibly. I don't. I
Yeah,
mean, what he's on like 1.1 million for really nothing. Doesn't
yeah,
bring. But you'll have to see with Sheens. You don't know with Sheens and Marshall and Robbie Farah, but yeah, I'd give him a -5. So I think we'll move on from now and
yeah. But may I just say one more thing about the Tigers though, quickly? Dane Laurie, I really like him as a player, a great young talent. But this year I thought he was average. I thought it was, to be honest, a bit shocking. I expected him a bit more from him, but he just didn't really have a great year. I know it's not all about the stats, but even the stats show he was off, and his defense was very average as well. So I think if he can improve this season, Tigers will be better for it because I do like Dane Laurie. I think he's a good prospect. But if he doesn't have a good year, then he might be. Then they might bring up another junior or like sign an actual fullback from another club, and they also struggle in halfback. That's very well known. Once they get those two positions sorted, they'll be on fire. So yeah, that's what they really need. They got a good forward, like they got some good forwards there. They got Alpha Hangawi, who I thought had a great year. They got Papali'i, Bateman, Coruscant. So they got some good forward. They got a good forward pack there. So all they really need is a bit of backline players, and they'll be good. So yeah.
And yeah, apparently they're also going to get Josh Kerr as well, unfortunately. So
Oh, Curry. Oh wow.
he's he was seen at Tigers training because he's friends with Offa Hangawi. So I don't know. There's reports he might go there in 24, but I mean Dane Laurie and then you got Charlie Staines now.
Yeah.
I'd be playing Staines and I'd be playing Laurie off the bench as a bit of impact, in my opinion.
Yeah, that could happen. That could happen. They could also use Staines on the wing. It depends. I don't know how they want to do it. Well, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Yep. I think who's next? The Warriors, isn't it?
Yep, the Warriors came 15th. Yeah, well, to be honest, I love the Warriors. I've got a soft spot for them because of what they've
Yeah.
sacrificed over these past couple of years to keep the NRL going.
Yeah.
Without them, we'd have 15 teams, and really, I don't like that there's a 17th team because there's going to be a bye every week. So, I actually thank the Warriors a whole lot because they've just literally sacrificed them leaving their home to come to Australia in quarantine for almost 2 to 3 years and literally try and play their best, even though they had a lot of shocker games. We have to give them a lot of credit, but I do feel bad. They had a very bad year. I thought with Sean Johnson coming to the club, I thought they'd be not around the top 8, but around like that mid-table area, maybe like 12th or 11th.
Yeah, I don't
I
know what happened there. My phone just paused, so I didn't hear what you said. Sorry, mate. It just paused. So
Yeah, I'll repeat it. Um, so I was saying that if I thought Sean Johnson would have made a bigger impact for him and made him a bit better because, well, we all know how good Sean Johnson can be, but he did not do enough this year. Neither I didn't really see Reece Walsh do too much. He had a. I'll be honest. He had some good games where he showed his real talent, but he wasn't feeling himself at the Warriors. You could tell. Um, Wade Egan, I do like him. I think he's a good part of their spine. But the the signings they've made for next year, I actually really like their team. They got Nia Corey, Luke Metcalf. Who else do they got? They
Barnett.
got Barnett. Yep. He's another good player. I have to check. Let me just check Zero Tackle. They got a lot of players. I
I
remember
know they got Tamaro Martin. I know
that's the one.
Nick Channel Nickel Kludstad's back there.
Dylan Walker,
Yeah, he's going to be good.
and they got Jacko Ford, which is a decent depth signing because we saw what Jackson Ford did for those last few games at our club, and he was actually half
Yeah,
decent.
he's decent, but he's just not a full-time
Yeah.
first-grade player.
Well, I do actually wish him all the best. I hope he goes really well at the
I do
Warriors.
as well.
Unfortunately, we just didn't play him enough, and well, we lost another junior. So, yep, that's our club. But Warriors this year, I have to give him I give him a 3.5, maybe a 4 out of 10. I look, they've gone through the tough stuff, the Warriors. So I'm gonna be a bit nicer to them. But they were off this year. I thought I expected them to be a little bit better. So yeah.
So
What are your
I'd
thoughts?
say for the Warriors, I'd give them probably maybe an 8. I mean, it's hard because I feel bad for them. They've sacrificed a lot, as you said, but they just were shit this year. I thank them for their sacrifices, but except that, just really boring. And I think the new signings really will add something to them. And I'm just like, I don't even know who their new head coach is. Like, I know he's a Penrith guy. I think it's Andrew Webster. I think
That's the one.
I don't even know who he is. So
Yeah. I mean, I think he coached a couple of games at the Tigers as an interim. I don't mind him, but I've not really got much of an opinion on him, to be honest. I haven't
not
seen enough.
yet. Yeah,
Not
not
enough.
yet.
So yeah, we'll just wait and see with that where that goes. But yeah.
I'd also say that I thought Sean Johnson just was very average and just not what I expected. I thought him going back there, thought he'd be really good, but just good field goal kicking. But for me, except that, just didn't really see the best of him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Do you want to move on to Newcastle, or do you want to keep talking about the Warriors?
We'll move on.
Yep. All right. So, if you want to start off with Newcastle, you go for it.
So for me, Newcastle were surprising because they did make round one of the finals in 2021. And then to go from round one of the finals to pretty much could have been the wooden spoon. If it wasn't for beating the Tigers, I would have probably had them directly in the spoon. I mean, just what was good about them, except beating the Roosters in round one. Just after that, they just went down the toilet into the sewer. So and I say a controversial thing. I don't think Kalen Pong is a first grade player still.
Ooh, that's huge.
I'd be putting Ponga back in reserve grade. If it was for me, I would just can't see his value. And I'd be offering him close to about 250, not anywhere near. I think the club's made the wrong decision re-signing him. I think he should have gone to the Dolphins under Wayne, under
A much better team.
much better system. Except that I thought some players were good. I thought, what's their winger? Dominic Young was really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be probably one of the best wingers we'll see, and really good in the World Cup. I just don't understand why he chose Newcastle, because apparently Melbourne offered him 850, so they offered him more than what Newcastle did. So he would imagine Dominic Young at Melbourne with what's his name? Coates on the wing, both of them on the wing for Melbourne could have been, I don't know, could have been really good, but I'll pass it on to you. I just thought Newcastle were average, boring, and I thought Adam O'Brien could have done a lot better. Yeah, that's what I have to say for him. Don't really have much to say.
For me, it all went downhill when Jaden Brayley got injured for the start of the season before it, and they got rid of Mitchell Pearce at the around the exact same time. For me, that's when Knights lost a little bit of quality and experience because Mitchell Pearce is a premiership winner. He's a proven halfback. He knows what he's doing. I think, in my opinion, he did more for Kalen Ponga and his career, because Kalen Ponga under Mitchell Pearce was a decent player. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah,
we all saw this year Kalen Ponga needs good halves to play well. Kalen Ponga was absolutely struggling, and then when he played Origin, he turned into an absolute machine all of a sudden because
mm,
he's got good players around him. So Knights need to do a little bit more recruiting. I think it all starts getting new halves. I don't think Adam Clune does it for me. Look, I loved Clooney at the Dragons. He
yeah.
put his best effort in. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a first grader at the moment, or the way he was playing this year. Uh, I think they can get much better. They could have even got, like, for example, they could have got Jackson Hastings last year, but they missed out on him. He would have been a decent signing,
I
but they
mean,
don't. They just
as I could say, they could have done. Yeah, I agree. You could have done a lot better with the halves. I mean, they could have tried Chad Townsend. They could have. Who else? There's quite a lot that I could think of that they could have at least tried for.
they could have gone for
Um,
Adam Reynolds too,
yeah,
because
I
they
mean,
already.
I couldn't see Reynolds going there though, even
Yeah,
if they offered him big money.
yeah. I look. I agree with that because they were already at that time. They were looking for a replacement for Pierce. We all knew that they didn't want him at the club. Um, I thought he was really underrated for Newcastle in his time, but they made a huge mistake. It was proven because they only won 6 games. That's just from where they finished. They finished in seventh last year. To go down
Yeah,
to 14th, to drop by 7 places, is just shocker. It's shocking because well, at least I a little bit expected a little bit better, maybe like 12th.
yeah.
But even that, they just I didn't see him making the eight this year with the team they had. Ponga missed more than 50% of the games, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Which your marquee player shouldn't be doing. I know he got concussed a lot,
yeah.
but the thing is, he's like, for them, Knights really need him, and he's not. Even when he does play for Knights, he's not performing for him at all. He was not performing this year. And I would have kept Tex Hoy because Tex
I
Hoy
mean,
was.
yeah, why not? I mean, I think he's going to be good over in England. He's suitable for the Super League, and I would have kept him even if he wasn't starting off the bench. He was good, reserve grade. He was really good. Um,
Yeah,
I witnessed him 3 times this year play in person with the New South Wales Cup, and he was the best player on the field. And also I'll just say with the Knights as well, I would have kept Jake Clifford as well.
yeah. Well,
I like Jake Clifford, and
yeah,
I thought he could have developed better. Um, but they just need a halfback, and I can't see it being Clune, and I can't see it being Phoenix Crossland permanently. They're
yeah,
decent, but they're not permanent.
yeah. They're not filled. Like, you can't fill in a roster with your halves as those two because none of them can control the game
And
very very well. Like, you've got so much better controlling halfbacks out there that they can go for now. I mean, now that November 1 has passed, I'll just name a couple of halfbacks that they can actually go for. Um, they obviously can't get them for next year, but I'll just name them for 2024 because literally, if they get a halfback for 2024, they'll be quite fine in my opinion. So for the halfbacks, you've got Matt. Well, Matt Burns not a halfback. Sorry. Um, Adam Reynolds is off contract, but he'll retire. Um, they can go after Mitchell Moses. That's a very, very possible thing. Jamal Fogarty. Um, they could also go for, if they wanted to, and if they really were that desperate, they could go for Matt Burnham, but I don't see him as a halfback. but they could get him at 5'8". They just need some halves. They need proper
Yeah,
halves.
they do.
That's all they need. So that's why they failed this year. And I'm going to give them this year. I'm going to give them a 2 out of 10. They were very, very mediocre and shocking in my opinion. I thought most people expected better from them. So yeah, I'm going to give them a 2 out of 10. Not a great year.
I would give them 1.5.1. I messed my words up. I'd give them a 1. But I think with their signings, they're not that great signings, really. I mean, Adam Elliott was good for the Raiders, but I don't know if he could do that again for the Knights. Jack Hegrington, not a fan of him. And I'm not sure. They'll play him, but I just can't see him being that good. I don't know who they've signed Newcastle from memory. I think it's only 2. I think
they got Tyson Gamble.
That's
like I said, halves. They need halves. That's not the right half to go for. So, yep. They got a long rebuild, Newcastle,
but one good thing I think. The only positive thing for Newcastle is them winning the grand final. Except that, what's a good thing in the last 5-6 years we can really say about the Knights, except them W grand final? The goals are really good. The only one maybe positive thing I could say is what's their new head of football? Peter Parr. He's going to be good for him, but except that, I think we ought to move on because they're making me tired talking about the Knights.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to get any better because we're talking about the Titans now. And I'm just going to say it right now. The Titans literally threw themselves out of the top 8. They threw themselves out. They got rid of Jamal Fogarty, which was like the actual biggest mistake they could have done. Toby Sexton was not first grade ready. You could tell he was shitting himself. He didn't have the only good stats he had was his forced dropouts. His try assists were off, and you can just tell he wasn't quite first grade ready. He couldn't quite get there. I didn't really rate him. Last year I thought it was a bit like Jamal Fogarty literally carried him when they were playing together, but and I was right because this year was just shocker. I would like to give a bit of credit to Alexander Brimson though. Jesus Christ,
he's good.
He is.
Yeah, but what is he for the Titans? Is he fullback? Is he 5'8"? Is he halfback? I mean, what is he? That's the thing. Like they've never kept him permanent. I mean, how many times this year have they changed it? I mean, so many times. I mean, probably like 8 or 9 times this year. He just keeps switching because he's a really great player. Really nice guy, great player. He's the future of the club, but they just need to be permanent with him.
Yeah, 100%. I also think that the signing of Kieran Foran is going to develop him so much. Like, I like Kieran Foran as a player. If he stays injury-free, he can be a real asset for Titans.
That's my only concern with them signing him injury. Except that, really good signing.
And they get Sam Verrills too, and that's look they've made some good signings, Titans, and they've got a really good team on paper. But I don't even think it's the coach. I just think the organization might not be doing the right thing for him. Like, they put David Fifita on way too much money. Their salary cap is just shrunk now. They got not much money. They've also used a lot of that money on Faisal Malawi. I think that was about $2 million that I've just in 2 names about that much.
Fifita's on 1.3 and Faisal Malawi's going to be on 1.1 next year.
Well,
So that's what that. Sorry.
2.4.
And I personally not a fan of David Fifita because he's just not consistent and
he's he's barnstorming.
Yeah,
But the thing is, he's just you got to give him good ball. If you don't give him the ball in the right position, you're not going to get the best out of him because at the Broncos, like he was quite unstoppable for a bit there.
yeah,
Um,
really good.
and last year he was quite good for majority of games as well because he actually had a proper halfback giving him the ball at the right time. But this year, he just proved that like without a good halfback, I mean, your team needs a halfback. If he was playing off Ben Hunt, for example, right? Ben Hunt would give him great delivery. I also know like Junior Ramon developed his short ball really well this year.
Yeah,
Um, he gave Jaden Sewer so many good tries from short balls. So like David Fafita, if he has a better half on his side to give him a short ball, he'd be unstoppable. But Titans are not a fit for him in my opinion.
no,
And Titans this year, I'd give him a 3 because um,
yeah.
they went from the top 8 to 13th, and they were
Yeah.
really lucky to make the top 8 last year, in my opinion.
They were
That's
very, very lucky.
like 10 and 14 doesn't get you in the top 8, but this year Broncos went 13 and 11, didn't even make the top 8.
Yeah,
That's
that's just bizarre. Just that we'll get to that, but I
yeah,
will say for me, the only positive and great good player I saw for the Titans this year was Bo Fermor. For me, I thought
100%.
that for me he was him, and I'd probably maybe say Tanner Boyd were their best players, and
Yeah,
Brimson.
and yeah, Brimson too. If Campbell stayed a bit more injury free, he had a couple good games there. We just a
He
machine.
is
Like
good, full
he was,
strength. Campbell's just spitting image of his father, just really elusive. Just I don't know. He's going to be good. And we
he's
had him at one point. I found out that he played SG Ball for the Dragons.
well. Oh, there we go. More
So
depressing.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, how many people have we let go? I don't know. Just,
Too many, too many. Tristan
but
Sailor.
yeah, I just thought that Bo Fermor was, my opinion, their best player.
I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. Both Fermor, very underrated. I don't even think he played Origin this year. I think he was in the squad, but I don't think he played. Um,
18th man. He was the first game, the 18th man, I think.
yeah, he deserves to play for Queensland next year, no
Yeah.
matter what. I mean, that this year was just unbelievable from
And
him. And look,
the only other player, yeah. You say what you're going to say.
for me, Titans next year finish. I'd have to say 10th to 12th, only
I
because their team is good on paper, but you don't know what their spine's going to look like. Like forward, is he going to be at 5'8" or halfback? Is Brimson going to be at fullback or 5'8"?
yeah,
Is
that's
Campbell going to play? There's no real. It's only like we have to wait and find out. But I don't really think the Titans are going to succeed next year. I don't know how well Kieran Foran can control the game. I know Daly Cherry Evans is a really good halfback, even though he had a very bad year this year. He controls the games much more than Foran. Foran just plays off the back of him. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens this next season because
but I definitely think Forum's their best signing.
yeah,
And Verrills, but who else is it? Joe Simkin, I think, is it?
yeah,
What's his name? He's
Joe
okay. He's decent.
he had a lot of injuries. That's the problem. Like at the Bulldogs, he was very injury prone. So they got to be careful.
Yeah,
But
he's decent. He can do the job, same as Aaron Woods for us. He can just do the basic job. He's not a flash player. He can just do the job he's paid to do. But where do you see Isaac Liu for next year for the Titans?
let me be honest here. He's a much better player at the Roosters.
Than what
Like
he played this year. I mean, at the Roosters, top notch, and then just dropped down. Just no one talked about him because he can really nice guy. He can be a really great player. Seen him in person, not for the Titans or the Roosters, just him, Jared Hargraves, just both of them together. Just, I'd want to run away. Just, I mean,
Yeah. I mean, let's
I
be
mean, he
honest.
played. I just looking on my iPad. Yeah, he played 5 different positions in a whole season. At the Roosters, he was in the second row for the majority of the year. So, I mean, he's okay, but I don't know.
That's another problem. Like the Titans just absolutely kill their players, man. Like
Yeah.
you sign a star player in Isaac Liu, who's easily one of Roosters' most underrated in the last 10 years. And then they end up making him very inconsistent, lazy. He looked dead, like he looked uninterested out
Mm.
there for a certain point. I think he knows that he wants to leave that club. I think he's realized like, oh, I should have gone to a much better club. Titans are definitely not the right fit for him. For
No.
me, like Storm have lost a lot of forwards. They've lost so many forwards. He'd be a
Get him
good.
to the Dragons, mate. I think
Oh, mate,
put
I'd
him
love.
with Jaden Sewer. Put him in with Jaden Sewer. McCulloch, possibly Francis Molo, maybe Musgrove starting. That forward pack for us. Just imagine that for us. That would be
Well, yeah, Jack Bird at lock too. Ooh, that's
definitely.
dangerous.
Or DeBellin, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
But we'll get to that. But
yeah.
the other player I think was a terrible move for the Titans, Will Smith.
Oh, he really. I don't even think he played much games. I think he played less than 10.
He
So
played 5 games with a
yeah,
total of 10 minutes over 5 games.
he's their George Burgess for us,
Yeah. I mean, he's
basically.
over in England now and came back, and I don't know. He's back playing country rugby league. He's actually playing for the club I play for. So
That
now he's back down
wow.
in England. Yeah, he's playing for the Stingrays next year that I play for. So I don't know. But
Well,
we'll move
hopefully,
on. We'll move
yeah,
on.
yeah. We'll move to the Bulldogs because they came 12th. I expected Bulldogs to finish here. I'm being honest. I think that's where I put them at the start of the year. Um,
Too
look,
much hype for me. Just
so
way
much.
too.
Like Barrett, it was horrible.
I
Barrett
mean,
is the worst coach I've seen. He had a great team at Manly. Api Coruscant, Daly Cherry Evans. You had Sean Lane
Hastings.
there. Uh, you had Sean Lane. You had the Trebojevic brothers. You had Manasi Fanu, who was starting his career as a young rookie, who was meant to be a gun. Unfortunately, we all know what happened.
Yep.
But Trent Barrett just ruins clubs. He's got
Yeah.
the best. He's somehow got the most the best recruitment in the world, but can't turn that team into good.
Into something. Yeah.
Look at
I
the
mean,
Bulldogs.
I mean,
The
they
amount of
signed like he helped sign 12 new players to the club, and
yeah,
then I mean the hype for the Bulldogs was just ridiculous. I never saw them in the top 8, and I still don't.
yeah,
Yet, but they're I don't know really what to say. They were okay. I've
yeah,
seen worse clubs. The Titans were worse than them. I've seen they're okay, but I think a couple of positives was I think COVID has to play a part in it with Jacob Carraz. I
yeah,
mean, if it wasn't for COVID and the players being out, probably wouldn't have played first grade. He's just one of a kind, and also another Dragons player as well. So,
yeah, yeah.
so
What do you do? What do you do? But I'm just going to say it right now. A positive for the Bulldogs was Mick Potter comes in, frees up their attack, and even though even though their defense was a lot more atrocious, their attack was just so good to watch. I remember the couple of games, the Eels game where they won by 30
gee,
points.
that
That
was a good game.
that was that was brilliant from Bulldogs. Like that was dogs of war.
My uncle was crying.
And
My uncle's a die-hard Parramatta supporter. They were at that game. They were, well,
we
I
got
was
that
the,
game last year. Like Bulldogs on Queen's birthday have the best game of all time.
yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I thought Potter did a really good job coming in short amount of time, 100% better than Bennett. Not Bennett, Barrett, sorry. 100% better. They looked better. But even with Potter, I didn't see him in the 8. But,
Yeah,
one player I thought when I heard that signed there thought was going to be amazing was Addo-Carr. I mean, for me, he wasn't that good for him, really. I mean, he just didn't get the ball. I mean, at Melbourne, star player because he gets the ball. He has quality centres on each side of him. He's got quality halfback, quality team. I don't know what you thought of Addo-Carr, but
well, look, he started off the year quite slow. I'm being honest. I love the Fox.
he is really good though.
He started off really slow, but towards mid-year when Potter came in, it freed him up so much more. Like I think he got better, like a lot better, but he was maybe like a 6.5 to a 6 out of
Yeah,
10. I
definitely.
this was his lowest scoring year, I think. I think he scored 14 tries, which is still high, but like that's really under expectations for Foxy. And I think Barrett has a lot to do with that. Barrett ruined Matt Duffy. Barrett literally
Yeah,
put
just
like Matt Duffy at last year. Remember that? Oh, sorry, no, not last year. 2019. Remember that try he scored against Roosters, where he ran the whole field.
that yeah. I think
His
so.
pace, his pace was amazingly fast. This year, he looked like he was slow. He looks slow. He looks slower
A
than Aaron.
completely different player. I
Yeah,
mean, it's like we'll just use an example. When like a transgender player, in a sense. I mean, like completely put on more weight. I just thought he was terrible. I thought he was terrible first grade and reserve grade, and just
well,
he's over in England.
he's going well there. He was
He's
going
gone
well.
well there. I have to say he's not back to Dragons form, but he's good. Barrett ruined him. I think
Yeah,
Barrett ruined quite a few players
yeah.
that they've had in the time there. Yeah. And I mean, how many signings did they make? The best signing, my opinion, was Max King for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Max
mean,
King.
most consistent player, didn't complain during the year, always turned up. Even with Barrett and Potter, I thought he was their best.
Yeah, you know
And
what? I'd also give some credit to Paul Vaughan. Look, I understand what he did at the Dragons. He was just cost us literally finals because we were in that finals bracket at that time. But this year
definitely.
he provided a lot of experience. I think his running meters were very good. He just runs very well, and I'd give him some credit. Also Matt Burton, like no one can forget Matt Burton.
No,
Just a machine.
and that
I,
in
I'd
Origin,
be
that
shitting
kick
myself.
in Origin.
I'd be shitting myself if I saw that. Yeah,
I
but
mean,
yeah, just calculating in the Dogs' 14 games under Mick Potter, they averaged 21 points, which is much more than what the
yeah,
Bulldogs averaged under bloody
yeah.
Trent
Just keep
Barrett.
talking, mate. I've just got to turn off something. I'll just be back. Just keep talking about the Bulldogs. I'm still here. I just got to turn something off.
Yeah, no worries. Well, I'm just going to say quickly, the Bulldogs just so expected to do so well and like to win 7 games. They won 5 of those games under Potter, and that's Mick Potter's done a lot well for them. I don't really have much of an opinion. I'll give the Dogs maybe a 4.5 out of 10. Their best player for me was I'm gonna have to go with Max King. I'll agree with you. But their worst player this year, I'd have to go. I'd probably say Jaden Ockenball. Being
I mean,
honest,
completely out of first grade. I mean,
yeah,
in his last 4 games for the Bulldogs in reserve, in the last 2 reserve games for the Bulldogs, he was the 18th man. I mean, he
I,
dropped back to 18th man in reserve grade.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe if
Like
he cuts a hair, maybe he'll be a bit faster.
he
I don't know
can't
how
even.
he lives with it.
He can't even catch the ball. That's just yeah. Look, I believe he's got talent, no doubt,
I
because
do.
he's scored some good tries. I remember the try against the Knights. He called the ball grounded like this straight away. Beautiful try, but yeah, he's just out of confidence. Like he needs to leave. I think a move to the Super League would do him well.
He's apparently in talks with going over to Japan. Apparently, I was
Japan,
hearing that apparently he's got interest from Japan.
more high school girls.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I mean,
Well,
I can't see him suiting Japanese rugby. I just can't see it.
remember Blake Ferguson went there. Nothing happens.
No,
Nothing.
nothing.
It's the biggest bust.
Yeah. I mean, you make a ton of money, but yeah.
Yep.
But one
Yeah.
person I will say I thought that was already at the Bulldogs was that was really good and has been for a decade is Josh Jackson.
Yeah. Like.
And I like to say thanks and what a great career he has had.
Yeah.
Him and Max King, my best players for the Bulldogs, both very consistent, don't complain, hard workers, just what the Bulldogs mean. And I hope that he'll stay at the club as some type of coach or something. Really like Josh Jackson. But my Bulldogs' worst player was Tavita Pangai Jr.
Fair enough. Yeah. Look, he had a lot of good games, but
He did,
the
but
amount of
I
money
thought
they paid for him, like just too much. Too much money.
if I was him, I would have stayed at Penrith because apparently they were set to offer him a full-time contract. So I would have stayed there. I mean, him under Ivan Cleary, he was good. I thought his best football came in that short time at Penrith.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. But yeah, we'll move on anyway
One
to
more thing about the Bulldogs. Who's your fallback for the Bulldogs
next year.
next year?
I like Jake Averillo. Look,
I do, but
I never rated the bloke at any other position, but Jake Averillo at fullback, literally for those first 5 to 6 games, was absolutely unstoppable. But he got a bit slower towards the end, but he's still getting used to the position, so he's going to have
I'd
off
keep him there. But apparently they're looking for someone. And I think it's Hayes Dunster or it's Hayes Perham. I think they've got now.
I don't really like that. I think
No,
Averillo.
I like Averillo. I know he's got time to develop, but I'd pick Averillo. And if they really didn't want him there, I would personally be more looking for someone like Carraz. If really, I'd put Carraz as my backup, but not Perham. But we'll move on from the Bulldogs because we've got quite. If you want to do all the teams, are you up to doing all of them? Or
Yeah, fine. I think we should do all of them. Yeah.
yeah, I've got time. This has given me time away from my girlfriend. She's harassing me, so this is a bit of peace for me.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
I got a call asking if I can pay $2,000 for shoes. I mean, what? So this is much better, much better.
$2,000. Jeez, what shoes? Jesus.
I don't have no clue. Some Gucci shoes things. So this is
Not
much
worth it.
better. So we'll move on now, and
Yeah.
looking forward to it. I'll just be back. Just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna do something. I'll be back.
Yep. No worries. In the meantime, while he's gone,
You go on, mate.
oh yep. We'll start on Manly, and look, their season wasn't bad till we all know what happened. I don't really need to explain it. They got this pride pride drama. I don't even want to talk about it. I actually don't hate.
I think we can miss that part. To be
Yeah,
honest, we can miss that part.
I don't want to comment on that. I know a lot of people who are homosexual, so I'm not going to comment on that bit of that jersey. I don't
Yeah.
really have anything against the people.
No, we
Um,
don't. I
I,
mean,
I I think I think the jersey was unfortunate. I think women in league round was meant to be celebrated as for women, but it just they didn't prepare it.
no.
All the religious Tongan players and Samoan players just we all know like we can't really say they can't do it because that's their opinion. So
So I think for Manly, if we don't count that, we count the games after that. And before that, I thought before that drama, they were decent, not great. Um,
they were they were ready to make the top eight, in my opinion. With Ruben Garrick, the way he was playing at that point was amazing. And then after that, when they lost to Eels with Jake Arthur as the halfback, it just downhill because look, I don't mind Jake Arthur, but how do you not win against the Eels with a weekend team? Like their team was weak and they had all their players back Manly. So yeah, look, that's where it went downhill for Manly. Not really a bad season, but just a lot of drama. It was like our barbecue season,
yeah,
uh,
definitely.
where we just had that drama, and if we didn't, we would have had a great season. I think.
But we just couldn't recover.
Yeah, we couldn't. It's so hard to recover from media things. I remember when the barbecue happened, they talked about the barbecue for 4 weeks. They didn't stop. NRL 360 was all over us. It killed me. It killed me. So yeah, Manly, that was your barbecue, I guess. But look, Manly will be much better next year. I actually think Manly will be 7th to 9th to 10th around there. Like I don't think they'll be top four yet. I look Seabold if they. I think they've got Seabold now. Um, yeah, I don't know. Seabold's a bit weird. Like he had 2 good years, then he had that really, really, really bad year, and just no one talked about him as a good coach anymore. And I think he only because he has a good team around him, he did well.
Yeah,
But I Manly have a good team, so we'll just have
yeah,
to wait and see. But yeah,
yeah.
my best player for Manly, I will quickly say Ruben Garrick was my best player for Manly. Absolutely world class. Like from playing winger to playing fullback is a huge transition, and he just like so easily just did so well. So
Yeah.
credit to him. And my worst player this year for Manly. A lot of people might be mad about this, but I didn't really like Cherry Evans this year. He was
Mm.
very, very mediocre. I think he had a lot of off games, very inconsistent. I remember the Dragons Eagles game that we were at. Look, a lot of our fans, we love giving it to Cherry Evans. I know a lot of fans that gave it to Cherry Evans that game. Um, but yeah, he was off badly. He was very
Just
out.
terrible. But
So
yeah,
look, this I'm gonna give Manly a 4.5 out of 10.
yeah. I would probably give Manly a 4 out of 10. I would say Cherry Evans would be my second worst player, but I personally would probably get a bit of criticism, but I would say their worst player was Morgan Harper because I know some people really liked him, but
Yeah.
I would say personally he was just terrible in my opinion, and Cherry Evans.
Mm.
Um, but I mean, also a positive for me and for next year is Tola Cola. It's Cooler or Cool. I don't know how to say his last name properly. I've got to work on that, but
Yeah.
he was really good. I
Yeah. Yeah.
mean, uh,
100%.
yeah. So I think, yeah, 4 out of 10 for Manly. I'd put
Yeah.
him maybe 9 to 8 for me next year. I think they'll just scrape in, but maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree. Well, let's move on now to our club, the Dragons. Um, look, I really don't know what to say. I was so just shocked we didn't make the 8. There's 2 games where we could have really won and we got
We
robbed.
should have. We should have.
We should have,
Cronulla and Raiders. We should have.
and we
We
should have
should
beat
have.
Tigers.
We
We
should.
should have
Yeah.
early in the year just cost us so bad. If we won those 3 games, we go 15 and 9. That is,
Yeah.
I mean, our record wasn't bad. 12-12 is top 8
It's not
record.
that bad. It's not that bad. So
Our year altogether wasn't that bad. I actually liked the way we played this year. Look, there was a lot of games where we just lost control of what we were doing. I mean, that Broncos game where we played. Well, we didn't have Ben Hunt, but still, we should have beaten.
we should. Yeah, we should have. They were like, what was it? Like only 3 or 4 players out of their normal team were in it. They were just like pretty much nearly a reserve grade team. I thought we were terrible.
Yeah, well,
But,
that game was.
I don't know if you were there for our best game against the Rabbitohs, Wing Stadium against the Rabbitohs.
I've never been to Win Stadium, but geez, that win.
Like the atmosphere being there was my favourite game to be there. It was just incredible. Saw more than just football, but it was really good.
You can just tell that the way we played that game, that was perfect. That was a perfect game from us, literally. That was the best game we've had in so many years. Yeah, wow, that was a great performance. Yeah, look, Dragons, they had a lot of problems with our juniors this year. I think
Yeah, a lot.
I think that Jaden Sullivan deserved some spot on the bench the way he played for a couple of games.
He's really good player, mate. I don't
is.
know. I mean,
And
he deserved a spot somewhere, but I don't know where that is. So
yeah, and let me say something about Sloaney, right? I really like the kid, right? I like the way he plays. He kind of reminds me of David Peachy. He's got a lot of talent, and I just think he needs to build his strength up a bit more, just build up a bit more beef in his body, get a bit more weight on him. Don't have to full on go Latrell Mitchell weight.
no, but
that big, but maybe in the middle, maybe 87, 89 kilos.
yeah.
That'd be perfect. And I think he's decent. I do really rate the guy. I think he can also play wing if he wants to. I hope he plays first grade. This year he was out of form, but I'm gonna back him. I back him through everything, literally.
I do as well. But I don't see him at fullback. For me, Ramsey's perfect. He's just
Ramsey's was very good this year. But the thing is, both fullbacks need to work on is their defense. But we can rate. I'm just going to give us a couple of plays right now that I think were superstar status for our club personally. So first, I'm going to rate Cody Ramsey. He was decent. He was really good in the games he played, but he had a couple of shockers towards the back end of the season. But I give him a 6.5 out of 10. I'll give a lot of credit to Matty Feeney. That season, perfect.
Really good.
Very well. Ravalawa, poor bugger got injured. He's a machine. He is an absolute machine. I saw it. I remember meeting him at the Dragons fan day at Cogra. Oh my! I would have been shitting bricks running at him.
He's a massive guy, but the most friendliest guy you'll meet as well.
Yeah, 100%.
But I will give credit to Tautau Moga for coming in.
100%.
Except that Tigers game, I would give him good credit. I mean, coming in after, was it 5 clubs prior? Not much first grade, but he did a decent job. He's not in my. Was it 7 tries, 10 games?
I'll
He
check
was
him
good.
out. Yeah, he was really good for us. I'm being on like this year he was really decent as a backup player. You kind of don't really expect much of him, but like he did a lot for us. So
I
I'm
just
glad
don't-
I'm glad he's staying.
I just don't think he's got the speed to be a winger anymore, though. I mean,
No.
that game, I was at the Tigers game, sitting up on the same side as he's running. I
Yeah.
don't understand why in the hell he run like that. Doesn't have the pace to be a winger. I would play him at centre, where he's probably his speed's probably not needed as much. Or maybe at a pinch, I could see him slotting onto the bench as an impact player, but on the wing, for me, he's just not fast enough anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
He's my honourable mention, but my top players this year have been Francis Molo, Jaden Sewer, Hunt, Ben Hunt definitely is up there. Michael Sloan. What did you say?
Junior Ramon, I give
I
credit.
mean, I play with his cousin, so he's
Oh wow,
for the Stingrays. I'll play with him next year. So
that's good. That's actually really good. Wow, that's good. That's actually that is amazing. That's what a small.
I actually have a chance to play a game for the Dragons next year if I want to. So see what happens.
Well, give it a go, bro. Give it your best.
So,
but yeah, this season I give Dragons maybe a 6 out of 10, maybe a 5.5.
I'm going to give them more. I would give them an 8.
Okay. Fair enough.
I just thought that in the games when we were fully turned on, we were fully turned on. I mean, my second favourite game against the Roosters, Anzac Day, that was another one of my favourites. Big Francis Molo just boom straight through. That was second favourite game. I don't know if you saw that one or not, but that was. I mean, it was just Francis just boom straight through. No one could stop him.
No one touched him at all.
I mean, I'm really disappointed he's suspended for the first, I think it's 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, him and his brother have been, Michael Molo, Francis, both really good. Very happy we re-signed Michael as well. He's really good. And as well, Jaden Sewer. I don't know what to say, but really good. And as a mention, the best shortest serving Dragons player goes to George Purchase. I never saw the point in us signing him, to be honest. Really.
Well, when we signed him, I was so excited. I was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna."
Yeah, I was excited, but then just didn't understand it. Yeah. I mean, when we already signed in the forward pack before he came, we had signed Molo, Kerr, Jaden Hunt, Michael Molo, got DeBellin in there. I thought we were good enough, but I mean, for Burgess, when he did play, he was okay. He is a really nice guy, though, so I can't really say much bad about him, but just never had it for the Dragons.
Yeah.
I mean, he was back in reserve grade, coming off the bench for New South Wales Cup. Yeah. I think we'll have to fast track this. I
was just about to say, because I've got to go after Broncos.
Well, how about we'll do 4 more instead of doing the rest. We'll do Panthers, Storm, and we'll Parramatta and Broncos, and we'll finish up. And we'll miss the other ones for today, just to save time, because I've got to go. So
yeah,
we'll do Broncos.
Quickly before we go on, Blake Laurie, good mention.
Definitely.
Good job this year. But yeah, we'll go on to Penrith now, I guess, or Broncos, whatever way.
We'll go Penrith, and we'll just. What do I say about Penrith? outstanding again. I'm not surprised they get back to back. Everybody's always so good. And that grand final, they never gave up from the first second to the last second. They were always in the game. Really good. And my favourite player for them this year had to be a mix of Dylan Edwards and Nathan Cleary, and I'd also throw in what's his name, Scott Sorensen as well. For me, they were all really good. I mean, Peter Harris as well.
Yeah. I like every play. Like for me, this year, every starting player for Penrith, excellent. Literally, they all fitted in so well. They're flawless. The team is flawless. They don't lose much. They don't lose often. They only lost to Parramatta, and Parramatta met them in the grand final, and they got beaten as well. So Penrith just proven to be like the best team ever.
I would give them a solid 10.
Yeah, I'm going to give them a 10 too. Like, this team is going to be a dynasty over the next 2 years, 3 years.
So if we want to move on to the Broncos, I'll start us off. What the fuck? I mean, what the hell happened? I mean, they come out and look like a completely different team with Adam Reynolds there, Capewell. I mean, I thought easily they could have possibly been in the top. They were in the top 4 before round 19.
Yeah, 100%.
And then to just drop so much. But I'd give a credit to Ezra Mann and Adam Reynolds. And I also thought, what's his name? What's their of a winger? Deliot Hoyter. What's he, Hoyter?
Yeah.
When he came in. They're my 3 best players. And I thought, for me, the player I didn't like was Capewell, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, he had a lot of average games. Missed a lot of tackles. That's a bad thing. But yeah, for me, Broncos just choked so hard. Like, we're known for choking, but to be in the top 3, top 4 for most of the year, and then the last 5 weeks, you just lose it. Like, that was bad. That was very shocking. And, well, Broncos, any other year, they make the top 8 pretty easily with that record. But just not the year. Look, I'm going to be honest. This year, top 10 teams, excellent. They were, like, really competitive. But yeah, Broncos, I'm going to give them a 6.5 out of 10. Most of the year they were good, but towards the back end, they really turned me off. I was like, oh well, this team's falling apart slowly, and they went back to their old form in 2020, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, 6.5.
I'd give them 6.5 as well, and an honourable mention is I thought Kevin Walters did a good job at different parts, except carrying on in a change room. Except that, I thought he was really good.
Yeah.
So we'll go on to Parramatta, and then we'll finish up with Melbourne.
Wait, bro, I got to go because I've been called for something, but I think we can continue this tomorrow.
All right.
If you want.
We'll leave it up because I think it's only Roosters, Storm, and Cowboys to go. So, all right, thanks, mate. It was a great talk, and all right, I'll leave it there. All right, see you then, mate.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.